Princess Diana was adored by millions, but she faced scorn from many members of the royal family. She felt judged by her father-in-law and was completely cut off by one princess. Diana's relationship with the royals was often unfriendly. The treatment of Diana by Queen Elizabeth II has been a topic of much discussion. The Queen was not known for showing affection publicly, not even to her own children or their spouses. However, she held a liking for Diana. Reader's Digest reports that the Queen believed Diana's upbringing in aristocracy had prepared her for a role in the royal family. Even when it became evident that the new princess was struggling with the intense public scrutiny, the Queen believed she simply needed more time to adjust. Diana began relying on the Queen for guidance and support, but their differences became apparent. The Queen had been raised to suppress displays of emotions in order to represent the crown, while Diana was a passionate person who couldn't conceal her feelings. Consequently, the Queen found it challenging to handle Diana's tearful outbursts. However, following Diana's tragic death, the contrast between the Queen's composed demeanor and Diana's warmth became evident. As the public mourned the loss of the beloved member of the royal family, they interpreted the Queen's stoicism as heartlessness. Nevertheless, the monarch revealed her true emotions in a speech delivered to the nation the night before the funeral. Describing Diana, the Queen referred to her as an exceptional and gifted human being. In 1977, Charles and Diana crossed paths when she was 16 years old and he was 29. At their initial encounter, Charles described her as very jolly and amusing and attractive, as reported by Harper's Bazaar. 3 years later, Charles faced pressure to find a suitable spouse, specifically an aristocratic virgin. He reconnected with Diana at a mutual friend's house, and she seemed to fit the desired criteria. However, even during their marriage, Charles maintained communication with his former girlfriend, Camilla Parker Bowles, who was already married. Diana felt jealous of her husband's relationship with his mistress. But Charles also experienced jealousy towards his wife. The public gravitated towards Diana's vibrant and warm personality, often expressing disappointment if they encountered Charles instead. After both parties engaged in extramarital affairs and made half-hearted attempts at reconciliation, the couple separated in December 1992. Following Diana's death, Charles accompanied her sisters in transporting her coffin from Paris to Britain. Prince Philip, unlike most members of the British royal family, was not born into the royal lineage, granting him a unique perspective on Diana's frustrations with the extensive traditions and rules she was expected to abide by. He made every effort to support Diana and even offered advice on salvaging her deteriorating relationship with Charles, a series of exchanged letters in 1992. People reported that Philip, however, confessed in those letters, "I have no talent as a marriage counselor." Diana responded warmly, expressing gratitude for Philip's words of encouragement and signing off with affectionate phrases like, "with my fondest love." Nevertheless, one of Diana's confidants later claimed that the Duke wrote 2 cruel letters to the princess in 1994. Additionally, royal historian Ingrid Seward informed people that Diana perceived Philip as too judgmental, as his primary concern was protecting the British crown rather than supporting Diana. Prior to Diana discovering that Camilla Parker Bowles was involved in her marriage, the two had a friendly relationship. Diana famously remarked, "Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." Initially, Diana believed Camilla was simply a member of Charles' circle of friends. In 1980, during Diana and Charles' first official public outing together, Camilla joined them as a companion to the 19-year-old Diana. It was only after their engagement that Charles confessed to his previous romantic involvement with Camilla. Diana's suspicions grew, particularly when she stumbled upon a bracelet Charles had crafted for his ex-girlfriend. The bracelet bore their respective nicknames, Fred and Gladys, engraved on it. Fans of The Crown may recall an uncomfortable lunch between Diana and Camilla. The series depicts Camilla offering advice about Charles to Diana and showcasing her extensive knowledge of him, much to Diana's surprise. This scene is based on an actual meeting, as recounted by Diana to her biographer, Andrew Morton. Diana also revealed that she confronted Camilla more directly after their marriage. As reported by Reader's Digest, at the house party, Diana confronted Camilla, stating, "I know exactly what is going on." Although it didn't end the affair, Diana had her say. Diana found solace in her relationship with another daughter-in-law of the Queen, Sarah Ferguson. Diana and Ferguson were fourth cousins and had grown up together. Ferguson shared with People magazine that they had been best friends since their teenage years, saying, "We were best friends from, I think she was 14, I was 15, and then we went on all the way through." It was partly thanks to Diana that Ferguson married into the royal family and became the Duchess of York. Diana made sure that Ferguson and Prince Andrew sat next to each other at a lunch in 1985, which led to their subsequent dating and eventual marriage in 1986. Once Ferguson became an official member of the royal family, the two friends supported each other in their various public duties, often finding themselves getting into trouble along the way. During a joint ski trip in 1987, they playfully disrupted a photo shoot on the slopes by engaging in a pretend snowball fight, much to the photographer's delight, but not necessarily their husbands'. The press, however, played a role in intensifying comparisons and fostering rivalry between the sisters-in-law. While Diana was portrayed as a glamorous saint, behind the scenes, Ferguson enjoyed more popularity within the royal family. Ferguson held Diana responsible for leaking information to the press about her romantic holiday with another man following her divorce in 1992. Furthermore, Diana and Ferguson's relationship deteriorated when the princess claimed in her memoir that she had contracted plantar warts from wearing a pair of shoes belonging to Ferguson. In an interview with Harper's Bazaar, Ferguson revealed that they had not spoken for a year by the time of Diana's death. Diana's most significant relationships were with her children, Prince William and Prince Harry. She had always displayed a natural affinity for children and was determined to foster a close bond with her sons, seeking to break the tradition of distant parent-child relationships that had been prevalent within the royal family. In the 2017 documentary Diana, Our Mother, Her Life and Legacy, Prince William spoke about his mother, expressing that hardly a day goes by without thinking of her. He fondly recalled Diana's playful nature and down-to-earth approach to parenting, acknowledging that she recognized the existence of a real life beyond the confines of the palace walls. Diana was known for taking her sons on ordinary outings, such as riding the bus, visiting theme parks, and dining at McDonald's. She even shocked the royal chef by insisting that her boys experience the toys included in Happy Meals. William also mentioned that his mother instilled in them a carefree outlook on life, equipping them with the necessary tools despite not knowing what the future held. He expressed his desire to make her proud of the person he would become. Like his older brother, Harry has cherished memories of his mother. He often recalls Diana's mischievous sense of humor, which he believed he inherited. In an ITV documentary, Harry shared one of the lessons his mother taught him, emphasizing that it was okay to be mischievous as long as one didn't get caught. In contrast to some royal children's experiences in history, Harry and William were fortunate to know that their mother loved them deeply. Harry reminisced about the warmth of Diana's hugs, how she would embrace him and hold him tightly. Reflecting on those moments in an ITV documentary, he expressed, "Even talking about it now, I can feel the hugs that she used to give us. That compassion that I think everybody needs." He described how, whenever he was in her presence, he could instinctively sense the immense love she had for him. The sudden loss of Diana in 1997 devastated both princes, with William being 15 years old and Harry just 12 at the time. Speaking about the pain of her absence, Harry acknowledged during an interview with ITV, "There's not a day we don't wish that she was still around." He emphasized their commitment to ensuring that she would never be forgotten. Princess Anne and Princess Diana possessed distinct personalities. Anne found her greatest joy in traversing muddy countryside trails and maintained the same hairstyle for over 5 decades. Conversely, Diana was drawn to the allure and vibrancy of city life and became an influential fashion figure. Nevertheless, the two sisters-in-law shared certain characteristics. Similar to Diana, and dedicated herself to numerous charitable endeavors. In fact, her support for Save the Children led to a nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize in 1990. Like Diana, Anne also desired for her children, Sarah Tyndall and Peter Phillips, to lead relatively ordinary lives away from royal expectations, and even declined her mother's offer to grant her children royal titles. However, these shared attributes were insufficient to salvage the relationship between Anne and Diana. According to Vanity Fair, Anne viewed Diana as silly and employed sharp language when they did interact. Diana eventually began avoiding her sister-in-law, and their rift deepened when Diana declined Anne's invitation to Zara's christening, citing her busy schedule as the reason. Being on the wrong side of Princess Margaret, the Queen's younger sister, was a precarious position to be in. Initially, Diana managed to avoid this precarious situation. Margaret had first-hand experience of the ups and downs of being the media's favored glamorous princess, which allowed her to empathize with Diana's challenges in navigating both the press and the royal family. Margaret offered guidance even during the separation of Charles and Diana in 1992, as she had gone through her own painful and public divorce. However, Margaret's support for Diana came to a halt following Diana's infamous interview with the BBC show Panorama. When asked, "Did you really think that a campaign was being waged against you?" Diana responded, "Yes, I did. Absolutely." Though she didn't mention specific names, Diana portrayed the royal family as cold and manipulative. Despite her rebellious nature, Margaret had always been a staunch royalist and fiercely protective of the Queen. Instantly, she turned against Diana, destroying their correspondence and severing all communication. At Diana's funeral, Margaret refused to bow her head as the coffin passed by. The Queen Mother shared a close bond with Lady Fermoy, Diana's maternal grandmother. Lady Fermoy served as one of the Queen Mother's most trusted ladies in waiting for over 3 decades. It is therefore unsurprising that the Queen Mother and Lady Fermoy may have conspired to arrange a match between their grandchildren, Charles and Diana. However, other sources suggest that the lady-in-waiting was not enthusiastic about the union, believing that Diana would struggle to adapt to the royal family's enigmatic rules and peculiar sense of humor. According to the BBC, the Queen Mother initially recognized Diana's outsider status and supported her. However, she also had a strong bond with Charles. Consequently, Diana began to resent her husband's prioritization of the opinions of his grandmother and mother over her own. There is another uncomfortable connection between these two women. Diana's sudden death left no arrangements in place for her funeral, leading palace organizers to rely on the plan originally designed for the Queen Mother. The Queen Mother attended Diana's funeral and continued to live for nearly 5 more years. She passed away in 2002 at the remarkable age of 101. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the icon below.